Okay, I'll call this meeting to order. Ms. Kraft, can you take roll, please?
Ms. Knapp?
Here.
Mr. Ringgold?
Here.
Mrs. Faust?
Here. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first we have public comment. Are there any comments from the public? Okay. Next we have general announcements. Are there any general announcements?
Nope. I don't have any at this time. Working on a few events, but we'll have details on that for the next meeting.
And I think I mentioned this at the last meeting, but the health district is still seeking a member to be appointed at the June 20th Delaware County Health District Advisory Board meeting. So if anyone's interested, you don't really have to have public health experience. We welcome business owners or stay-at-home parents or anybody really that lives in the county. Let's see here. Okay, next we have the consent agenda approval.
So I'm sorry, Ms. Knapp.
Did I miss
We do have
something?
2 items after
Oh, health
general.
insurance?
Yes, the health
Okay.
insurance.
Next we have health insurance renewal.
Yeah, hello. Some
Steve,
familiar
thanks.
faces.
Sorry, I know you're tall, so if you can, yep, that'll capture it, hopefully.
Hi, my name is Dean Stitz. I'm with McGowan Brabender, and we are the insurance broker representing Orange Township for health and dental and a lot of that healthcare side of the insurance. And so this year, maybe a bit of historical context, we used to be a 1-1. Used to be a 1-1, January 1st renewal. We were fortunate enough to earn an opportunity to be, for lack of a better term, voted onto an island with Anthem, and it's called the ERC, which is basically, if you're healthy enough, you can join a pool of other organizations of similar size to Orange Township for better year-over-year increases and kind of just a pooling of people that meet certain underwriting criteria. We made that transition January 1st of 23 for an 18-month contract, which is a bit unique. Normally it's a 12-month contract. Year-over-year open enrollment is the same time of year. But 6 extra months at no increase is a nice consideration. And then the ERC renews all of their people at the same time on July 1st. So rewind 18 months ago, the decision was to move into that program. And we initially got a 13.8% increase, which is about trend, if I were to give you kind of some expectation. And then Orange Township and all of its employees participated in certain wellness programs that got us 2% off of that number, just like that. So it was 11.8. And then we decided as a committee to still go to market and look at what other options we have out there. And by virtue of kind of a couple of back and forths, getting competitive data, going back to Anthem, we were able to negotiate that after a couple of rounds down to a 3.9%. So again, in comparison to the 12 to 15% trend, with the extended time that we had, a 3.9% was viewed as a good opportunity for the township to consider renewing. And then after the committee's involvement and having conversations about how departments and their employees have appreciate, or just how has Anthem been performing, there was no bad news, which in our world is good news. And so with a competitive, comprehensive 3.9% mixed with the fact of good experience, the committee decided to renew with Anthem and now we'll be back to kind of the 7-1, the 12-month July 1 cadence. So for 12 months at a 3.9% increase, continuing to leverage the difference card as a part of that equation, which is the HRA card that we have on top of the Anthem plan. So that's the kind of the decision that we made as a group, is 3.9% for 12 months.
No, it's really good
Yeah,
compared
it's
to
a
where we
good rate.
started.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
And it's nice that the staff doesn't have to change, as far as like the plan doesn't change, the company doesn't change, so, you know, everybody that is in-network is still in-network, and, because that
Yep.
can be a big hassle.
No ID card, you know what I mean? That
It's such a
change is
pain.
challenging.
That's great. Yeah, well, good work, everybody.
Yeah, thank you to the committee, I know you guys put a lot of time into it, and working with them, so thank you.
Thank you.
So there is a resolution in front of you all regarding our renewal.
Okay. Any more questions or comments? No?
Nope.
Okay. I make a motion to approve Resolution 24-162, approving a renewal of a contract for insurance policies that provide health insurance for township officers and employees.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringgold?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes. Okay, great. And next we have the fire levy resolution of necessity. Chief? Or is it chief?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Board. So, in front of you today is our resolution for this year. We're coming up on our 7 mil for renewal. So we'd like to present that we renew it for another 3-year time period, and that is the what's in front of you for necessity. And of course, the next meeting will have the second part of this.
So this is, just reiterating for the community, so this is a renewal, so our taxes do not go up at all, nothing
No.
changes,
No new tax.
nothing different, okay.
Yeah.
And you said for 3 years?
Yes.
So then we would have to look again, this is 24, so 27 timeframe, just as far as processing all things
Yes.
with
Yes.
this particular
Yes.
levy. Okay.
And this is the, excuse me, primary source of funding for all of our fire and EMS
This
services.
is the big one. Last year, we did add the additional, but this is the 7 mil, our main source of money, and it is we've had, so for the past, 2012 is when it was initiated, so.
And so if this were to not pass, there would have to be drastic things happening within the fire department to keep, and we probably wouldn't.
If this, we wouldn't
We wouldn't
function.
have a
Right, we
fire
wouldn't-
We wouldn't have a
department,
fire
yeah.
department.
Okay,
Yeah, we
right.
wouldn't be able to have a
So
fire department.
The community wouldn't have
No.
EMS, we wouldn't have fire, we wouldn't have,
Yeah.
come get my cat out of a tree, check my carbon monoxide, none of that kind of
Yes.
stuff. So the goal is that all of this passes.
And it's been the same since 2012, is that right? 2013?
2012 was when the 7 mil was brought in, and yes, it has been
I think it passed in
renewed ever since.
2013, right? February, okay.
I-
So it's
yeah.
been, because it failed in 2012 and
So it's
then
been,
I
yes,
think-
2013, so
Okay.
2012.
So the same for
2013. It's been the
10,
same.
11
and
years,
Been
yeah.
renewed every year. or every
And
3 years.
just one item to note, it does get the state rollback still, so by not making any changes of it, changes to it, I should say, we keep the rollback, which saves our residents some of that tax and puts that burden on the state of Ohio.
Which is
Yeah.
a state reimbursement.
Exactly.
Right, because if we did a replacement levy, I think that would generate technically more money from the levy itself based on the population, but then we would lose the, what is it, $1 million, or how much do we get from that rollback?
Rollback is 10% of the tax
Yeah.
is paid by the state of Ohio, and then there's another 2.5% homestead on top of that, so.
Close, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and that's why we did have to pass the additional small levy last year to keep up with all that, but I think this is a really good that we've been able to keep it pretty low for all these years with the massive increase in population, so, good job.
Yep, thank you.
Are there any further questions?
Nope.
And when does the current one expires?
It collects
Next
through
year?
next year.
Okay.
Collects through 2025.
So then this
great.
would collect in 26, 27, 28.
Okay. Any questions or comments? There it
I
is.
believe it starts on the bottom of page 4.
I had it. Okay, make a motion to approve Resolution 24-163, a resolution of necessity to levy a renewal tax in excess of the 10 million limitation for the purpose of providing fire and EMS services, RC 5705.3, 5705.19I, 5705.191, 5705.192, and 5705.25.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringgold?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Thank you, Board.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay, and next, we have agenda changes. Are there any changes to the agenda?
I do have a couple. Under the zoning report, we will have an additional item to set a moratorium on the Route 23 overlay district. And under fiscal report, we have two additional items. The first is to amend and reinstate a cooperation agreement with Delaware County. And the second one would be to transfer funds from Public Works to general fund, and that's associated with the cooperation agreement. And that's all I have for agenda changes.
Is there anything else? Any other?
Nope.
Okay, so let's see.
I think we're on page 10 now.
10, okay.
Jeez.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes Resolution 24-164, approving the electronic record of the proceedings from the regular trustee meeting, and the zoning hearing held on May 15th, 2024, and the zoning hearing held on May 22nd, 2024, and Resolution 24-165, approving purchase orders, then and now purchase orders, and blanket purchase orders as listed.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes. Okay. And next we have the Development and Zoning Report. Mr. Duffy?
Good afternoon, trustees. We'll start with the hearings and meetings report and then segue into a couple resolutions that we do have in front of you. So to start off, we do have an action-packed Board of Zoning Appeals meeting this month on Thursday, June 20th, here in this room at 6 p.m. I believe there are 7 items on that agenda. The first for a patio encroaching into a rear setback on Mercier Street. And then a bevy of sign applications. So we do have conditional use for a monument sign on 350 East Orange Road. Four variances for sign height on commercial buildings. That is at 601 Corduroy Road for Columbus Granite, 8870 Columbus Pike for a Meyer sign, at 8823 Owen Field Drive for the new proposed Another Broken Egg Cafe wall sign, and then a fifth for the proposed Del Taco wall sign at 8787 Owen Field Drive. And one final variance on the BZA agenda for another patio to encroach into the rear yard setback on Tralee Lane over in Westerville.
Robin, remind us what the Del Taco one, what was the building, and it's a repurposed buildings, right?
Yes, that, let's see, it was.
The former White Castle?
That was
Okay, thank you.
White
Just trying
Castle.
to place it in my, okay. So that's over in front of.
Home Depot.
Thank you. All right,
Yeah,
thanks.
it's both the old Panera building and then the old White
And they're like
Castle.
kind of
that are-
next to each other, right?
They
By
are,
that
yeah,
right
very
now.
close, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Lots of new restaurants and
It's exciting to
businesses.
see.
It is
Super
exciting.
Yeah.
That's great.
And all of them need sign.
Surprise,
But that's something that we're considering in the
That's what I'm
code when
Right.
part of the resolution changes that we're proposing this year is when we see a consistency in variance requests, we'll try to incorporate that in the new zoning code to make sure applicants' businesses don't always have to go through this process.
And Robin, these, I think it's 4 or 5 here, if we had the new code implemented at this time, would they need variances? Do you know?
I don't know for certain, but I would guess not. One of the things that
Depends.
we're looking at changing is focusing on the size of the sign rather than the height, which is the current regulation that trips up a lot of businesses, is that 15-foot height from
Yeah.
finished grade to the top of the sign.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And then we do have 3 zoning applications that are in process with the Board of Trustees. So the first is the tabled Route 23 Corridor Overlay District for the Parkway Plaza. Still no updates on that. I have been in contact with them. They are working through details of their application. Expect to have some more updates in the coming month or 2, but no news as of yet. And then we have 2 public hearings to schedule with the Board of Trustees. They were both recommended for approval by the Zoning Commission at their previous meeting. and that is there are two amendments to single-family plan residential districts. The first being for the Slate Ridge single-family plan residential district, and then the second is for the Onyx and East proposed subdivision, formerly known as Aldea when it went through the zoning process, has since been renamed to Marigold. So the first two resolutions that we have before you are to schedule those two hearings. I do believe we can most likely accomplish those hearings at the same time or in the same day or evening. It actually works out fairly well that those two developments are almost right next to each other, so it's convenient for any neighbors who wish to come and see what happens with both subdivisions.
Was there a lot of public participation for the Slate Ridge?
I don't believe anybody gave public
I think
comment for
Mr. Wenzel
Slate
asked
Ridge.
about,
Yeah, there were some questions
Was
about
some-
their landscaping, but not
yeah,
necessarily
on the north side.
comments. We had about 7 or 8 people show up for that zoning commission hearing.
And Mr. McCoy had a couple questions on one of them. I don't
Yeah, for the Onyx and East.
Okay, yeah.
So we were looking at, I think, the Wednesday, the 26th, is that right?
Yes. and we
Would it be possible to start at 5, if the
Yeah.
first
That works for
hearing?
me.
And then, yeah, just, we could, schedule them both at 5 and then just,
Yeah, I'd recommend doing the Slate Ridge one first,
Yeah.
and then doing the Marigold second.
okay. So we, yeah, that's
For
fine.
5, we can schedule them both for 5.
Yeah, and then that should be great, since there wasn't a lot of public comment on the first one.
The only other question I had with the RCOD 2303, we will renotice the community.
Correct, yes.
When it gets, okay, cool.
Which one was that?
The 79 Parkway.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, can make a motion to approve Resolution 24-166, schedule hearing date for zoning for ZON-24-02, Slate Ridge SF PRD for Wednesday, is that the 26th?
Yes.
Wednesday, June 26th at 5 PM at Township Hall.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes. I make a motion to approve Resolution 24-167, schedule hearing date for zoning ZON-24-03, Marigold SFPRD for Wednesday, June 26th at 5 PM at Township Hall.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Okay, and then we do have a total of 3 more resolutions before you. I'll start with the first 2, and then we can move into the third. So the first is to regretfully accept the resignation of our zoning inspector, Andrew Koenig. Andrew has been with us for about 18 months now. He has been an exemplary steward in the zoning inspector position. We're very sorry to see him go. He's grown a lot, he's learned a lot, he's really made that position his own. Again, he's just been a great employee. We're sad to see him go, but we wish him all the best in his next chapter as he moves on to pursue higher education.
We're very mad at you for leaving, but we decided it's okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're going to miss you. You've been doing such a good job. I've appreciated working with you.
Thank you.
And the fact that you've been able to step up and help us with the tech stuff has been
I
incredibly
know. How are
helpful.
we
So
gonna-
thank you for that, and
Yeah.
please make sure you have a to-do,
I'm
a list.
working with Eric and others. So.
Yes,
Awesome,
yeah, we
thank
do
you.
have a succession plan for that.
Fantastic, great. He's been super helpful.
Are you going to get a master's or something, or what are
I'm
you?
going to get my master's in environmental science at American University, which is in Washington, D.C.
So you're moving also? Wow,
Great
congratulations.
school.
Do it while you're young, for
Yeah.
sure.
We're excited for you.
That's great, yeah, congratulations. And so your last day is,
June 28th is what the resolution states.
okay,
So we get one more meeting
Yeah.
with him.
get one more.
Correct.
Lucky him.
We'll keep you till the very, we'll keep you till
Yeah,
the very end.
exactly. 5 PM, this meeting's going on forever, okay.
Right.
And then
yeah, go ahead.
the second resolution is to post that position, so it is also to authorize a job title change for that position. We are not looking at changing any duties or structural changes in the zoning department. That is simply a title change. The reason being that zoning inspector is a term in the Ohio Revised Code for the kind of primary zoning officer for an Ohio township. It doesn't happen super often, but every now and then there is some confusion with the zoning inspector that we have titled, or the zoning inspector as per ORC, which is actually myself. And so just to eliminate that confusion, we are proposing that the job title be changed to zoning compliance officer, which we feel is an adequate description for that position. Again, no duty change, just a title change.
Yeah, and that makes sense too, because zoning inspector, that's a whole different title than compliance. I think compliance definitely reflects the job better anyway.
And what's the plan to find our next employee in that? Mike, what's the?
Yeah, so Mr. Kremnicher and I will work together on this. Mike, do you want?
Yeah, I'll just take over. No, we're going to go ahead and do what we usually do, and that's post internally, see if we have any internal candidates. From there, we have a number of sources that we'll look to post, and referrals are a great thing. So if anybody knows of someone that would be a great fit at Orange Township, we'd love to see them apply.
I did recently learn that OTA will post job openings for us. I don't know if there's a cost or not, but if that's something that, we need to do, I think that's something that we're able to do.
I want to say yeah, that would be a good one for this particular position. I think we've done that in the past, but yes, it's a great resource.
Great. And do we have a pay range for that yet?
I'm working on that.
You're working.
And it should be ready by the time we hire.
Okay, good. Okay. Is there anything else?
So I have one more resolution from the agenda change, but I might suggest that we move through these two resolutions,
First,
then we
okay.
can move on to that next topic.
Okay, let's see. I make a motion to approve Resolution 24-168, regretfully accept resignation of full-time zoning inspector Andrew Koenig.
Second?
Mrs. Pals?
Yes.
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes. I make a motion to approve Resolution 24-169, authorizing the job title change from zoning inspector to zoning compliance officer and the posting of the job announcement for the zoning compliance officer position vacancy.
Second?
Mrs. Pals?
Yes.
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Thank you, trustees.
And will the new person might not be in charge of the technology then, right? Just depending on their skills. I mean, it's kind
I
of
believe
unusual
that's
skill.
still in flux, but I believe the plan is to move those duties over to another position.
It is if possible, okay. But not everyone necessarily has those technology skills,
Correct,
you know,
yeah.
that has a zoning experience, so.
Yeah.
Andrew's a rare bird.
Yes.
All right, and then we do have final resolution before you via that agenda change. Apologies while we worked through this resolution with our legal counsel. But again, this is to impose a moratorium on new applications for the Route 23 corridor overlay district. I think we've seen that there is a little bit of a mismatch between the type of development that has been utilizing the overlay district process versus the type of development that we really want to see and to emphasize in Orange Township. And so this would put essentially a 6-month pause on new applications for the overlay district and allow us to work out some details in the text, kind of fine-tune some things, and then hopefully bring it back in the future, possibly in conjunction with our zoning code rewrite, which we hope to have around the same time. So again, it's roughly 6 months, goes to the end of the year. So as the resolution is written now, overlay applications would be able to be accepted at the beginning of 2025, but the moratorium can always be extended, shortened, or altered by the Board of Trustees. I would note that it does not affect the 2 overlay applications that are in process, which is the proposed self-storage facility and then the Parkway Plaza. It would also allow for amendments to be approved or heard for any overlay applications that are already approved.
Okay, and when I was talking to Julie to have her prepare the language, I thought it was going to be a longer, was there an issue with it being longer? We can just renew it, is that the plan?
Correct.
So we'll just renew, if we need to by the end.
Yeah, I would, you can
Before we
either
can-
extend it, or, depending on what happens with our zoning rewrite, we might
Might
not
just be
necessarily
gone.
need it.
Yeah, okay, hopefully it'll just be. So I have very strong feelings on the overlay district. This was brought to the township back in 2018 or 19, and I understand they were trying to encourage development and get more money through the JED, but when I looked at the map, I thought it was a very irresponsibly and incomplete map that was drawn. It didn't delineate areas near residential as any different than any other area. To me, it just looked like kind of a money grab, to be honest, from the developers. So that when I came out against that, a lot of developers got together and supported a different candidate against me, and I lost the election because of that. So I, as we've actually seen now, several applications have come in, and I think we've only had one or two, Sheets? Is Sheets the only one that's
Caliber
currently-
Collision was the other commercial
Yeah, that one
application
was-
that was approved. There were also some residential applications that were approved before standalone multifamily was taken out of the
Okay.
overlay in previous
And that one's
revisions.
fine, but even the Sheets had some issues that had to be worked through. So it seems to me it's just complaints from residents. There's no right of referendum. Basically, if they meet the plan, it has to be approved. And that takes away control and power from the trustees. It takes away from the residents for, in my opinion, very little benefit to anyone but the developer. So I'm really happy to see this put in place. I think it's just caused nothing but heartaches with developers coming in and basically steamrolling the township and the residents and putting in whatever they can using loopholes, and that includes that one most recent application. So that's my comment on that. Any other? Okay. I make a motion to approve Resolution 24-170. Do I have to read the whole thing?
Just
or
the title.
Okay.
Yep.
What's the article number?
20.
20, thank you.
20, okay. Resolution enacting a moratorium on all new applications under the Route 23 Corridor Overlay District, RCOD, Article 20 of the Orange Township zoning resolution.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes. And so that will be through December 31st of this year,
Yes.
right? Okay. And so, like we said, we could renew if we need to, or have a new application, yeah, extend it.
Yep.
Okay.
And we'll put something on our website too to reflect that.
Ah, thank goodness. Okay, next we have operations report. Silas?
Thank you, Board. First item on the operations report today is an REA for the annual OPWC application. That'll be for Michelle to authorize that REA and send to the county engineers for assistance with the OPWC that we'll put in for Bale Canyon Phase 3. The second item is a recommendation to approve Carter Hosfeld to our seasonal public works labor position. And then, the last one is to execute the agreement and contract to proceed with renovating the trails here at Township Hall Park.
Can you elaborate on the work that's being done?
Yeah, so we have some full depth repairs, some areas where there's some drainage issues. So it will be essentially a fresh surface across all the 0.64 miles of trails within inside the park here. Most of it will be an overlay, some of it will be full cutouts and full repairs, and then some drainage improvements as well.
Thank you.
And so, no, that's good. And so we won't need to be taking out any trees or anything because of the one contractor's recommendation?
Just some pruning to
Good.
get equipment in and out.
Okay, yeah, it's very beautiful. I love the trails back here. Even though I know they're a little bit more, how wide are they?
Some are 10, some are 8, few sections are 6.
Okay, so a little bit inconsistent, but I'd
Correct.
rather have slightly inconsistent and beautiful than, wiping all those trees out, so that's.
We like the shade at this park.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, our project manager, Dave Gilson's done a good job getting this project to where it is. So kudos to him for putting all the pieces together and getting us ready for approval.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. Any other questions? No? Do you want me to pass that resolution now?
I think that's all for operations, so.
Oh, is that
That's
all?
I think we're on page 15 now.
Okay. Oh, did we take away the parks, the appointment of the parks person?
we're
We have the
seeking-
public works seasonal labor position, that's resolution 172.
I'm just looking at Carter's resume right now. It looks like he's a student at OSU, and he is studying, he's got a bachelor's, going to get a bachelor's in science in food and agriculture and biological engineering. So that sounds very smart. We're excited he's willing to work with us.
Yeah.
We will
Some
make him
hands-on
smarter.
Yeah.
Hands-on experience first.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, okay, make a motion to approve Resolution 24-171.
Yes.
All right, okay, authorizing Township Administrator execution of a request for engineering assistance with the Delaware County Engineers Office regarding Ohio Public Works Commission funding application for Bale Canyon Phase 3.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes. I make a motion to approve Resolution 24-172, appointment of Carter Housefield to the Seasonal Public Works waiver.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes. Okay, make a motion to approve Resolution 24-173, authorizing the Director of Operations to accept the contract agreement for Orange Township Hall Trail reconstruction from Gordian and authorize the issuance of a purchase order.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Thank you, Board.
Okay, next we have fire report with Chief.
Good afternoon again, Board. So in front of you is a intergovernmental cooperation agreement for shared services. It would be between us and the Delaware Area Career Center to utilize our emergency vehicle technician, Mr. Worley. So they do have the fire program that they put through for the high school students and also the adult career program. And they have 2 fire trucks over there. They're looking at trying to see if Mr. Worley would be able to work on them, but also the big thing is pump testing them, which is an annual requirement. So that is what's in front of you today.
Is that a new thing, or is this an annual thing that we do? I'm just wondering.
I'm sorry?
Have we done this with Bill before?
This is an agreement that we have with many different townships that we're
To
lucky
utilize
enough to
this.
have
Yeah.
our own mechanic. So we do work with other townships. There is fees that they pay for the service, and the parts, of course, they pay for. And then DACC would be doing the same thing, so.
And we're very lucky to have Bill here
Yes.
servicing
Yeah.
our equipment.
That's the only item, right?
Under
Yeah.
fire, yes.
Okay. I make a motion to approve Resolution 24-174, authorizing execution of intergovernmental agreement by and between Orange Township, Delaware County, Ohio, and the Delaware Area Career Center, DACC, for shared services automotive mechanic.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Thank you, Board.
Oh, big patch, I'll go fix that.
So now we're on page 28.
That's a big jump, too.
That is really big. 28, you said? Okay.
I fixed the typo in that resolution, hold on a second.
Yeah,
Sir, oh Jesus, picture does not
this
services. Okay.
Okay, next, did you get it? Next, we have fiscal office report. Ms. Kraft?
The first item we have is a request whether or not to hold a liquor license hearing for WY Mongolian Grill, Inc., which is over there in the Walmart shopping plaza. So how would the board like to, would anybody like to hold a hearing?
No.
No.
Perfect, thank you for your consensus.
And we ate there the other day, it was good.
Oh, yeah?
Good. We'll have a book club there
Do
soon.
they cook in front of you?
Yes.
Okay. The next is, this is for fire. Chief asked for an increase in appropriations. They're spending more on maintenance of vehicles this year, so just keeping an eye on his appropriations as he should. Requested an increase of $25,000 for repairs and maintenance of vehicels. Okay?
Does that come from somewhere?
He had unencumbered money.
Okay.
Yep. And then Michelle might have to help me, or Robin, with
I
this
can do
DORA.
that,
Technically, I have to introduce the DORA to the board, but I'm going to defer to our wonderful administrator.
Okay, thank you. So we, over the last few months, we have been working with Evans Farm, our mixed-use community on the northern side of the township, to implement a designated outdoor refreshment area, as known as a DORA to most. So part of the process is there's a couple of steps that we need to do. The first is today to accept the filing of the application, which is done by the fiscal officer with the board's approval. And then the next step would be to do notifications, and then we would hold a hearing at our next regular meeting. So the Evans Farm Dora, is proposed to be in the entire Evans Farm district.
Commercial only, or?
It's residential too. Yeah, it's the whole Evans Farm.
So basically, I could buy a alcoholic beverage
Walk
at Standardized Brewing, right? And I could walk to my house if I lived there
Yes.
around. Okay.
Yes, so we are more of the administrative body that just helps the process go through, as the state is the one that makes the actual approval of this type of district, so.
So they
Or the Department of Liquor Control.
And so they rule after us? Okay.
Yeah, so once we file, we have the hearing, and then we send their application, and now we try our best to make sure the application it meets all the requirements before filing, which we are comfortable with the application that we have. And then we'll send it to the state for their approval.
And then do we pay for the notice, or is Evans Farms?
We do pay for the notice on our end, yes, for our hearing.
And are we noticing the entire Evans Farms community?
No, it's just a notice in the Gazette.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's no
Nobody's getting-
notification requirements for specific parcels.
Thank you.
Now, we did ask, just as a courtesy, we did ask for, verification that they did not contact the residents, which they did, and then we did ask for a correspondence from the county sheriff's office. They don't necessarily, the county sheriffs cannot provide approval of the district, but they are aware that it is happening, so.
Does that mean that, so it's only alcohol that you purchased at the designated restaurants, right?
Yeah, and then so that it has to have a special cup, so if you've been to downtown Pell has one now, and actually Liberty Township has one.
With the city of Delaware as well.
Yeah, City of Delaware, so Columbus. So yeah, there's a sticker on the cup that specifically says Dora, and then they have to provide signage to understand the boundaries of the area.
And does that include like the parks in Evans Farm?
They are proposing it to be in the entire Evans Farm
Is
area.
the cup look different every day?
I'm sorry?
Does the cup always look the same?
It has to have the same label on it. I don't know, I believe it has to be the same cup, but.
I think the picture
Because it's
of
part
the
of
cup
your-
was part of the application.
Yeah, it's part of
so,
the application,
yeah,
exactly
always
right.
be the same.
So could someone reuse a cup and pour their own alcohol in there? Is that possible?
I guess they could do that with this.
I think
Yeah.
the cups are,
I don't, this is
But yeah, I mean, there's, as
You know
far
what I
as the
mean, yeah.
enforcement part of it, that's gonna be up to the sheriff's office to
Yeah,
handle.
I'm just surprised that, have we ever seen a Dora locally that encompasses such a large area? It's usually,
I thought it was gonna be just in the commercial, but I haven't read that most recent one.
I
Yeah, that's just
don't
different.
know. I mean, I'm sure downtown Columbus area is significant.
but with residential, even in parks and stuff?
Yeah, it
Is
would
it?
be, yeah.
Yeah. It's the first one in the township,
This is our
correct?
first, and I think we're allowed to have three.
Three.
Oh, just
We're allowed to
three?
have three,
Oh, okay.
based
And-
on our population.
And so we hold a hearing?
We will hold a hearing, yes. So Evans Farm will be here at the next meeting to present.
Okay, so that will be the hearing, and then, residents won't be notified of that though, right? Just on the agenda?
There is a public notification that we have to put
Oh,
out
in
in
the
the Gazette
Gazette,
and our
okay.
social media.
Will Evans, I'm sure they have some sort of like listserv for their residents. Do you think they'll
I
let
mean,
them know?
I don't know, I will ask.
Okay.
Yeah, I can have them notified.
And is there public comment at that meeting then? Okay,
Yeah.
and so someone's gonna send us the criteria so we know on what to judge, correct?
Yeah, well, it's not really up to.
Or we just have to
It's
approve
not
it?
up to us. I mean, our goal is, our role is to, kind of like the liquor license. Do we want to have a hearing? Yes, no. And then it's not really up to us on what's required in the liquor license. It's just more opening it to the public to have feedback.
So we don't make any decisions that day, or?
We would make a decision to file it with the state. That would be the next step. So,
To her point, they could decline it if they.
I guess they could.
Who could decline it?
The trustees could set it back.
Yeah, because I'm wondering, like, why do we have to have a hearing if we can't make
Yeah.
any decisions? But even
I'll have
like
to-
having a
we've been
hearing on the liquor is almost
this
useless.
is very new to us.
Yeah, just
so
send us
we'll-
the information.
We've been working with the prosecutor's office, so we'll get together with them this week and understand next steps, but.
Yeah, or maybe we give a recommendation of denial, it still goes forward, and then the
It could
liquor
be.
commission might say, well,
I
there's a
don't, I
bunch of.
don't know that exactly.
Yeah, I don't know, but that would make sense if we give our local recommendation, and then it goes forward, and then maybe they decide, I don't know.
But if
I've
so,
never
If
looked at
we
it.
knew that the community was okay with it, that's the only thing that is,
Oh, no, that's exactly what I'm
From the
thinking, but if
house,
you had a
right,
bunch of people that were
Right.
worried, is what I was
right,
thinking.
but if
I
the
mean,
community's okay with it, then
Oh,
they're the
yeah,
ones
if the
that are living
community's
there, so.
okay. But that's my concern, is that if it's everywhere, there might be some concerns. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how controversial they are.
Yeah, this is our first.
We'll
so-
find out.
I do know the community is, they all get together, not all of them, but, a lot of them get together, and there's a very big, my understanding is there's a big community feel within the residents of Evans, so, which is
Yeah,
great.
maybe they'll
So
be
they're
super
all
happy
excited
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so anyone, even if they're not a resident, could walk around with a door cup. So you-
Yes, as long as they're within the Evans Farm
Ellen Farm.
boundaries.
Yeah, because I have, we've received some complaints about Friday and Saturday nights, a lot of noise, or people revving their engines and things on Lewis Center Road. So I don't know, I just
It's
don't
not
want
on
it to
Lewis
get-
Center Road. I mean, I hope they don't try to do that on Lewis Center.
Well, but I'm
Road.
just saying, in conjunction,
Oh,
the
yeah.
drinking everywhere, and then you have the revving of engines, and the residents on the area, it's just become pretty loud, and then we're gonna have the sports park. Would this be out in the Jennings Sports Park? or
It is in that area.
even-
Does, crosses
Oh.
the tracks.
Yeah,
It's all of Evans Farm, right?
Yes, excluding the cove, so
Yeah,
it does not
excluding the
cross the
cove.
tracks.
Because
Oh,
Jennings
so
is
Jennings is,
on the
yeah,
east
Jennings
side
is
of
on
the
Yeah.
our side, yeah, or the main side.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right, okay. Thank goodness, drunk people stumbling over the railroad track. Okay, so, well, that'll be an interesting
Yeah, so more
experience.
information to come. We'll present the application with Evans Farm at the next
Okay,
meeting.
good, great.
Thanks for your work on this, I know it's a
Yeah,
fair
that's-
amount of back and forth, so thank you guys.
Very
for
different.
Assisting.
No problem.
Okay, is that everything?
Oh, fiscal
No,
has two more things.
So why don't we go ahead and hit those two, and then the next two kind of go together, so
Okay.
if we could. So let's, if we could do 24-175.
We're on page
Okay.
28.
Okay. I make a motion to approve Resolution 24-175, revising and/or increasing permanent appropriations established in Resolution 23-288.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes. And,
I fixed it already. Yep, thanks. I did.
okay, all right, I don't want to bug you if it didn't really
No,
matter.
I
I'd be too
fixed
picky.
it. It
Okay,
bothers
okay.
me.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure. Okay, let's see, make a motion to approve Resolution 24-177, amended and restated cooperation
Wait.
agreement.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
no,
am I in the wrong one?
We're on bottom of page 28.
176.
So long. 176. How am I missing it? Oh, there it is. I make a motion to approve Resolution 24-176, accepting the filing of an application to have property designated as an outdoor refreshment area per RC 4301.82, project Evans Farm designated outdoor refreshment area, Dora.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
All right, then the next one is, and Ms. Knapp, you probably might remember this, when we got the money back in '09. So this is just continuing, the continuation of trying to clean up old things on the books, kind of what we've been doing for the last couple years. And this was $50,000 that was sitting in the OPWC account. It was sitting in Fund 2401, I think, 4401, and it was specifically for use, and you could go back if you want to see in the records, the Township archives, on the June 8th trustee meeting, you'll see the trustees, or you'll see the resolution accepting the agreement, accepting the $50,000, and it was supposed to be used for East Orange Road improvements. Well,
What year was that?
'09.
09, okay.
For reasons that we don't know, they never, the money came in from Delaware County, bills came in, and we never used that. That money was never used to pay for those improvements. So we had to go through Delaware County commissioners to say, can we use that for Vail Canyon? So we got their okay, and that's the resolution you see in front of you. And then the next resolution is basically saying, okay, let us move it from the OPWC account to general for the explicit, for the use of, for Bill Canyon, so that we would only use it for that capital project. So that's what the next resolution is, and this is a transfer, not an advance, which means it doesn't move back. Once it goes, it goes. Okay, so just
Can we use it
bringing
for
that
any-
attention to you, that difference to your attention.
Can we use it for any phase of Bill Canyon that we want?
Just as long as we're using it for a similar type capital project, which Bill Kenyon would be.
Gotcha.
Okay?
And so that was not in a separate account, it was just in with all the money?
No, we're going to put it in with general now, but we'll do a PO specific to that capital project, because we have that set up in general, so we can, pay it directly from the appropriate, code in the general fund, but this was just money that's been sitting out there in that fund since I started.
Okay.
Yeah, and we just haven't been able to access it because we couldn't trace its roots. If you can't trace the roots of the money, you have to go to the auditor of state to get their help in releasing those funds. Otherwise, they are restricted until you can prove what their intent was for and where the money came from. So we were able to find where the money finally came from. So that's why we would like to release it and let Silas do his thing with it.
Yeah,
So,
that's great. So the commissioners obviously said yes? Okay,
Yep.
that's awesome.
Thank you for doing that digging.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you, the county commissioners, for being willing to continue to partner with us on our
Yeah,
road
right.
projects.
Exactly, even when things didn't go as they should have in the past. So that's what 177 and 178 are.
Okay. Okay, make a motion to approve Resolution 24-177, amended and restated cooperation agreement between Orange Township and Delaware County East Orange Road Improvements Project 2009.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes. And let's see here. I make a motion to approve Resolution 24-178, authorizing the fiscal officer to transfer $50,000 from Public Works Commission projects to the general fund.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Thank you, that's all I got.
All right. And next, we have the administration report. Ms. Bonnie?
Yes, I think I can do this one, although Mr. Kremnitzer spearheaded this. But this is just simply a reimbursement of sick leave hours for our parks and maintenance and facilities laborer, Richard Spellman, as he was on injury. He had a work injury, and we're just reimbursing his leave from that. That's all I have.
Right, let's see, is that all? Oh, let me get back to the right page.
Now we're on 34.
34, okay. I make a motion to approve Resolution 24-179, authorize the reimbursement of sick leave hours for parks maintenance and facilities labor, Richard Spellman.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes. Okay, next we have an executive session.
Yes.
Okay, I make a motion to to approve Resolution 24-180, enter into executive session to consider the appointment of a public employee or official.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes. And invited to attend are the fiscal officer, Lisa Kraft, Michelle Bonney, and Mike Kremnitzer.
Trying to figure the AC.
I'm ready whenever you are. Okay. I make a motion to approve Resolution 24181, return to regular session.
Second?
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Mrs. Faust? Yes. Ms. Knapp?
Yes. Make a motion to approve Resolution 24-182, meeting adjournment.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes, meeting adjourned.